All right, we'll start with Coach. Let's begin with Grant, Mike, and Ben.
Rick Kennedy looked in control tonight, maybe as much as he has all season. What was working for him tonight?
Well, I would agree with you. I thought his pace was really good. I thought defensively he had really pushed up, and we talked a lot about the things we needed to do to improve as a team after the Arkansas game, and I thought our guys gave Missouri the ultimate compliment because they came in really locked into what we needed to do to get a win here, and certainly, as a team and program, we have great respect for Missouri and Coach Martin, but he was locked in what he did. But BJ Bailey, I mean, think about it. He hasn't had games he hasn't played, and came in and gave us a big lift. And then Jonas and Brandon, I thought, I mean, there at the end, we had 3 freshmen on the floor for a lot, true freshmen coming down the stretch. But I thought those guys, everybody, I mean, they guard so well, and they made Santi work for everything that he had to get. But I do think that Kennedy was, as you said, spot on in terms of the balance in his game that we need him to have.
Yeah, Rick, with Brandon, seemed like he gave you more of the stuff you've talked about today than he has in a while. Is that the case? And then is John healthy after Arkansas?
Well, I think what Brandon's doing, I thought he was a force. I thought his strength and the fact that he, we said all along, he's athletic. He got terrific hands and feet. He knows how to move. He can play in tight spaces, but I just thought he was really doing a good job getting himself in a position to impact the game in a lot of different ways, not just thinking I got to have the ball to do something. His effort that he made on the rebounds, he started the half, both he and Uros missed bunnies around the rim, but again, those shots are harder than I know I probably talk about. But we're just really proud of his effort and the fact he was locked in, scouting report wise, his voice out on the court, you could hear it, and gave us a good game.
Then is John okay after Arkansas?
Yeah, he took it, had a little hip pointer, and he played, but then he didn't feel like he could go anymore tonight, so we were fine with that.
Rick, what'd you see from VJ that allowed him to be successful, and just how much do you think tonight was a confidence booster for him?
Well, I think when you work, and we said it all along, but I think that what he's done, and he's done it in practice really more just simplified and I really think some of it is getting back to what he's good at. He's a really good mid-range player. He's good around the rim. When he keeps his game compact and tight, I thought his 3 that he shot tonight was, just the kind of rhythm that you'd want him to shoot it with, not like just came to him in the flow of the game and he shot it the way he practices. But I've said before that I think if anybody close to our program would tell you the players how much respect they have for him and how hard he's continued to work, and just a great example for everybody that you just don't ever let go of that rope and not only just hold on, but you keep working and keep climbing. And again, he earned it. He stayed with it, and he deserves good things to happen. And defensively, he's gotten so much better, through his time. And now if he can bring that back to us, it really helps us.
Rob, Wes, and David.
Coach, you touched on it a minute ago, but you said your guys paid Missouri the ultimate compliment. They came out and played hard, and you talked on Monday. You didn't think they would overlook it, that this team hadn't been that way. Can you just talk about their ability to be locked in from the start in a game like this?
Yeah, Rob, after we got back and went in as we always do to usually scrub out games, but our point was we got to really take a day and talk more about us. We normally do prep a little bit different, but this time of year you're going to have to get ready to do preparation, and it shouldn't take as long because you've seen a lot, pretty much what you're going to see, and it's a matter of letting the mental part work for you from your preparation. But we talked about what we had to do, and then we went out to practice yesterday. I thought, with trying to nurse some guys, you were there, a number of guys didn't really practice, and the guys that were out there, I thought really locked in. I thought that, and I said it to the team last night when we were going through some practice tape, how hard I thought Justin and VJ and Quentin, how hard, and Jemiah, how hard those guys work. And obviously Jonas would be on that group and really set a great tone for what we were going to see here today. I mean, it was very competitive, short but sweet, but very competitive. And then today's shoot around, you could tell it again, we were locked in because again, we got some guys that remember Missouri walked into our building last year and they spanked us pretty good from start to finish. They outplayed us, they outworked us, they out-toughed us, they did everything. And again, we knew it coming in because we'd won up here early. I think our first conference game early in the year where we played really well, but they came back and they put it on us, and we showed some film from that game and said, hey, regardless, you can throw the records out. They're going to give this effort because they do every night. And we actually watched how they just totally dominated us a year ago in Knoxville.
And Coach Justin didn't play tonight. Is that just you shortening the
No,
bench?
just because, we felt VJ was in a flow there with it. But not Justin is, again, I promise you, Justin Powell is going to have a game where he's going to keep doing what he's doing. And beauty of our team, and we said it from day one, there's not a guy on our team that hasn't helped us win a game this year. And there's going to be some guys that people aren't talking about right now that will help us win some more. And what VJ did tonight, really, you could just feel the lift it gave our team. And just where, obviously, it's a feel-good story for him within our team because of how hard he works every day. And, there's been games, I don't know how many games he had gone where he didn't play a lot of minutes or whatever, but we just had nothing to do. Justin, we believe in Justin. It's just there's so many minutes in the game, and when you feel like things are flowing, you try to stay with it.
Yeah, Rick, I was going to ask something similar to Rob. I know that I think all of y'all's losses this season have been against quad one opponents. Everyone else, you've kind of gone up there and taken care of business as a team. What does it say about the maturity of a team to kind of do something like that? I know the season's not over, knock on wood, but to this point it hadn't happened.
Well, again, the credit goes to our guys, and I think our assistant coaches do an unbelievable job with game preparation. We've got the ultimate confidence in them. I think our players have it, and each one of our assistants go about the game with their own personality. They do, and they do a great job, which I think the way that plays out, really, players don't get stale with it. Not the same voice doing it all the time. And but I also think it's a real compliment to our players. I mean, we've got enough guys that have been through it that have done a great job with their leadership. We talked about it, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where this team was starting to coach themselves in a much more positive way, in a good way. And right now, again, I think like every team, when you start the season, everybody's excited. Then when you start settling in a little bit and people aren't playing the minutes that they thought they would play or whatever, then there's a point in the year where you have to fight through that. And then I think if you can stay in it and stay together this time of year, you can feel our guys, I think, no question, they're in it together. And again, you mentioned Justin Powell. Does Justin want to play? Absolutely. Do we have confidence in him? Absolutely. VJ, we do. I mean, we've worked with different lineups, and I just think it's a real compliment to our players that they've worked hard, they respect each other's work, and they certainly have great respect for our opponent. And they know they've got to be ready, or they also know that we can get beat if we're not.
Rick, if I could take you back to early December when Kennedy had that really big game at Colorado. If you look at the Kennedy Chandler now compared to then, what do you like about his game and how he's developed over the last couple of months?
Well, I think it's night and day difference. And in some ways, I've told him before, I thought that was, in some ways, was a curse because it looked so easy for him early in the year. And I think he went out thinking every game was going to be like that. You go back, he really struggled at times with after that game, where changing defenses, he thought each game was going to be just a repeat. The defenses, he's learned how to read deep, and he's talking so much. When he looked over at me tonight and said, "Hey, coach, we're switching 1 through 4." I looked at him. I said, "Well, you know what to do. You take advantage of it." And he's talking. He's just matured so much in understanding and learning. There's so much more to the game than what he had thought. In terms of, he always played with the ball in his hand, and when he didn't have it, he stood defensively. He's learning now how to, I think, really play defense. He's got almost a 6'7" wingspan. He's learning how to use that. He's learning He's never had to deal with different ball screen coverages. And, we have a package that we go through, but from his point of view, I've told him from day one, you're going to have to become a great ball screen defender. And he's worked hard at doing that. He's learned really so much how to move without the ball. He made some great cuts tonight, and he's a lethal player when he does that, because I told him, I said, the easiest thing to guard is a guard that just keeps it all the time, where teams can load up on you. Again, you saw tonight, Coach Martin and his group, they were going to double the ball. They were going to make it hard for him or Santi or Zakai. They were going to use ball screen. They were trying to use, obviously, their length against our smaller guards and say, we're not going to give you much room, try to corral you, try to take away your vision. And I thought he adjusted well. I thought all of them did for the most part, but he's a different player now. He is a different player than he was back in December.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. You can go ahead and raise your hands for BJ Bailey.